I do find that there's sufficient convincing factors in front of me that he does have sufficient ties to the community and he is not a flight risk. I do not believe that he is a danger to the community in the sense that Ayala sets that forth. I do not think that he is a danger of posing any significant risk of committing an additional felony pending trial. I do not believe that he poses a significant risk of intimidating witnesses, but I will talk about that. And I am therefore going to grant a bond. Now, I first want to go over the conditions because the conditions are going to be very specific and they are going to be tailored to this situation. Number one, he will have an ankle monitor. Mr. Rolfe is going to have an ankle monitor at his expense. He will be fitted for that prior to his release. He will be subject to being monitored at all times. He will have the curfew. I think the curfew is reasonable, that's suggested by the state from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And the exceptions that the court would approve would be work, legal, or medical. I think that we have all learned to live in terms of worship and other issues. I think we've learned to live remotely, and that can be accomplished that way. I am going to ask him to, if he has a passport, to surrender his passport. He will not be allowed to possess, own, carry any firearms. That would include rifles, as mentioned by the state. I kind of join Mr. Pines. I'm not 100% sure what knives mean, but if the use of a knife is an offensive weapon, he's not going to be doing that. But he will not possess, own, or transport or carry any firearms, weapons, guns, or rifles. Okay. He will not have any contact with other. I think the way that it was put was certainly no communication with the family members. There are, I would like to remind everybody, there are 4 victims, alleged victims in this case, correct? So there's Mr. Brooks, and then there are the 3 people who were in the SUV because they have the aggravated assault charges, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. So that's all, that is the Brooks family and the 3 other witnesses. So he will not have any contact of any kind with any witnesses or victims, alleged victims in the case. And I think that we all understand if we need to put it in specifically, but that does not prevent his legal team from investigating the case. But he is not to have any contact of any kind. Let me see where I am here. He will not have any contact with other police officers. I think that's entirely reasonable. Certainly, if a situation arises which is an emergency, I think that we can all understand the rule of reason, but he will not have any contact with any other officers. I am not doing anything with the passcode to his phone. That is for another hearing. I will say, and anyone can correct me, and please correct me on the record if I'm wrong, but I believe that there is an obligation not to destroy, alter, or spoil in any way any evidence. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor, and we of course will not spoil evidence.
Ms. Griffin, you agree with that? Because he's not. I agree that he is not going to do anything to that cell phone. So if we need to put that in there,
that is the requirement, that they not destroy or spoil any evidence. They have the search warrant. We have, even if they can destroy the evidence remotely, the warrant has been served for the contents of that phone.
Okay, so I think we're saying the same things, that we are now under the obligation on both sides that no evidence be tampered with in any way, correct?
That is correct.
Can I get everybody saying correct?
We agree, Your Honor. We will not do anything with the cell phone. It would be unethical to do that. The state has possession of the cell phone, and we will not attempt to wipe the cell phone. That would be illegal and unethical on our part.
Okay. Now, I think I've gone over all of the conditions. And now, we are going to need to talk in some fashion about where he will reside. But obviously, I do not want to go into any specifics at this point. So you have to tell me how we do that, because that is going to be part of the monitoring and so forth. But I want to talk about the procedure, but I do not want to talk about the location at this point. Okay, does everybody understand that? Can I get some headline?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Then now I would like to go over amounts. This is going to be $500,000. I'm going to go over the individual amounts with you and how I got to that amount. But the court and that's why I specifically went through the case law that I cited to you, because this court does not feel this amount is excessive.